Last week we took a full tour of the room, well, that we're in right now. This amazing reptile room with all the amazing animals that are in here. If you guys didn't check that out, I'll leave a little card right there for you. But that still leaves one more room that we talked about a little bit in that video. And that room, of course, is the gecko breeding room with all my breeders going on. We have an entire room full of incredible breeders, some amazing stuff going on. Starting from some New Caledonian stuff, you know, crested geckos, gargoyle geckos. We got some rare Tokay geckos in there, cave geckos, and also ball pythons. A lot going on in that room, and I wanted to showcase to you guys and how it's looking since the renovation. So yeah, that's the video. Stick around, we're gonna be showing some incredible animals, and subscribe if you're new. Would love to have you around. Let's get into it. As you guys can already see, we have made some big changes over here at DBCB Exotics. This room is a lot more organized, a lot more centered between specific projects, instead of stuff being just played around everywhere. So we're going to be taking this one step at a time, really showing you guys everything we have over here at DBCB Exotics. This includes our breeders, our babies, our holdbacks, some stuff for sale, and so much more. Getting into it, let's start with this shelf right here. Now this is going to be all of my baby geckos. This includes some crested geckos, gargoyle geckos, and cave geckos. We have one little cave baby that I decided to hold back from 2020. So starting out, we have some of my holdbacks. These are the things I really want to showcase, like this guy right here. This is just an incredible gecko. One of our 2020 holdbacks. Let's see if we can get him out. 20 holdbacks, and just absolutely incredible and spotty at such a young age. Only being around 4 grams, 4 to 5 grams, this guy has a lot to go. And actually, we've seen this actually progress with this patterning. Not only is he getting bigger spots, more spots, but he's also getting red spots, which is just incredible to see. After all this time, you know, I'm just thinking like, he's got a lot of spots, let's hold him back. But now, not only does he have a lot of spots, he has some ink blotting, and he also has red spots at the same time. Really glad I held this guy back, and definitely going to be an amazing breeder in the future. Honestly, this video would probably be about an hour long if I showed you all the cool geckos, so I'll just do some B-roll montage. But yeah, we've got some incredible stuff. We got some newer holdbacks that just popped up about a week ago. I believe we're up to 5 or 6 geckos right now that just hatched that we will be selling. Obviously, with it being winter, we have to hold off, but early spring we'll be having some amazing guys for sale. Let's roll that baby montage right now. Slightly a little bit over this way, we've got all of our breeders. These are going to be all of my crested gecko breeders and my gargoyle breeders. Starting right here, we have an amazing honey stripe or yellow stripe that I call honey. Absolutely gorgeous gecko. I believe the yellow stripes are very underrated. I don't know if it's a mutation or they're just the color itself. The reds and the oranges have the spotlight right now, so I wanted to kind of dig under and get a little niche going with yellow stripe stuff. We actually just bought a couple more stuff that'll be coming over here pretty soon, and for 2022 we'll be having a lot of yellow striped gargoyles that I'm very excited for. As I say, red is an underrated color, and then we have a red striped grow out right over here. This is actually bought from Andy Simmons. We did a little tour with him. I'll show a little card right here for that. He produced some absolutely gorgeous gargoyles, and this one is no different. An absolutely amazing red-based red stripe. We'll need to get a nice male for this gal in 2023. I'm not sure where we're gonna get it yet, but what I know is it's gotta be really red to match up with this girl, because she is just on fire, man. Down a little lower, we've got some more geckos, including the top one for me right now, and that is going to be what used to be named Cookie, but I have now renamed to Cookie the Chungus, because just take a look at this gecko. She's huge. She is giant. Funny enough, man, I bought this girl when she was just around 22 grams, so I had to grow her out for a bit and then obviously breed her, and since then she has just packed on the pounds. Not exactly sure why. We feed them all exactly the same. It's not like, hey, let's give Cookie 3 deli cups of food and give everyone else 1. No, they get the exact same food, so I'm not sure why Cookie has been holding on the pounds while we got other geckos that are still ranging around that 35 to 40 gram, you know, keeping a more lean weight. It's just funny to see, you know, I guess some geckos just put on the pounds while others like to trim them down, and Cookie is definitely not the exception. She's a big girl, to say the least. Before we move on, we'll just get to the bottom of the rack here. This one being a 2019 holdback gargoyle from my very first gargoyle pairing. But this is actually the first gecko the first gargoyle gecko, I should say. The first gargoyle gecko I ever produced. It's really exciting to see them grow out. I love just that transition from like a baby that you hatch out, just this tiny, 1.1 gram baby, and then you grow it out and you get an adult like I have with some of my top guys over here, Galaxy and Sprinkles. Just some awesome geckos that I grew out for years and are now old enough to breed and will be producing me babies next year. I'm really excited to transition that to also gargoyles. It's gonna be really awesome, man. A little bit forward, or over, I guess, to the side, we have Pebbles the Chungus, or I guess what Pebbles used to be the Chungus until Cookie outgrew her. She's the biggest one in the collection now. Pebbles is obviously awesome. I do want to eventually move Pebbles out of here and out of a bin and get her just a nice bioactive enclosure, make her almost an ambassador for the channel for Crested Geckos. And that's just because Cookie has some pretty severe FTS when she was brought back to me from a breeder loan. And honestly, I don't want to breed her. I know some people are like, oh, FTS isn't that bad, you can still breed them. I just don't want to take the risk. I really like Pebbles. She's a really comfortable and just friendly gecko. She doesn't bounce around and jump and things like that. She's just a good gecko overall, and I definitely don't want to do anything that could risk her life in any way, shape, or form. So she's going to stay as a non-breeder and a pet-only gecko, and eventually we'll be moving her out of this 58 quart tub into just something nice, a bioactive planted enclosure, to really showcase just how awesome Pebbles is. Speaking of geckos that are really nice, let's talk about the exact opposite, and that's going to be my boy Spots here. Spots was my first breeder crested gecko, and he is not the friendliest. Not like Pebbles, where she just, although, well, maybe I've tamed him down. He's still a little adventurous. Spots is absolutely awesome, man. He has bred and sired some incredible crested geckos in pretty much every holdback that we've had. Both these girls right here, Spice and Galaxy, they were bred from Spots. They were a Spots to Xena pairing, and now they're going to be doing pairings of their own with our other male crested gecko that we have, Spice. It's going to be really awesome, folks, but it all started with this one male crested gecko right here, Spots. Right below that one, we've got my male gargoyle gecko, who honestly is not the nicest gargoyle gecko out there. He's a brown and orange striped little dude. Still an awesome breeder. He sired all the clutches of Gargs we got, all the holdbacks we got going on right now. However, we're definitely moving on some nicer gargoyles, and once those yellow ones come in, we might have this guy up for sale, just because at that point I really won't have a need for him in any of my other projects, and I'd like to see him going and sired some amazing, either some B&W stuff or some orange stripe stuff. He makes an awesome guy. He gets the job done. And that's the important part with gargoyles, because a lot of times the males need to be real headstrong to deal with these big females we got over here. Coming around, we've got the ball python section. Everything that you're going to need. Hatchling racks, grow out racks, adult racks. We've got plenty of ball pythons. I believe we are up to 20 ball pythons right now, and funny enough, guys, this is a monumentum or a milestone time over here at DBCB Exotics, because this is the last time you're going to be able to see the ball pythons in the reptile room tour. We actually just recently sold off the project. We sold them in bulk, so this will be going. We've got these two that are going to be going, which leaves us just with the hatchling. So if any of you guys want some baby ball pythons, like this just incredible entry right here, if you're looking for a nice pet or a nice female one gene, this is the snake. I was going to say gecko. This is a snake for you. Beautiful, man. I don't think entries get enough credit. I mean, just an incredible looking snake. These guys will all be going off into their new homes, and we will be moving to strictly gecko-based projects. I know we've only done the ball pythons for a short time. It wasn't a good investment on my part. You know, we've really solidified our brand here at DBCB Exotics being geckos. We are the gecko people. I mean, geckos, geckos. Geckos, more geckos, more geckos. We have a building with a bunch of geckos, and yet we still just started some ball pythons. Doesn't make much sense for the brand. We've moved on now, and this is the last time you guys will be seeing these snakes, or really any snakes besides Viv, over at DBCB Exotics. We'll, however, be keeping the fancy incubator, my very expensive, like $600 incubator that was really only like, it only fits a couple clutches in there. Of course, we'll be doing some large lizard projects, you know, Tegus, Argus monitors, Aki monitors, things of that nature. We'll need a pretty good incubator to get those eggs going to make sure that they hatch properly and we get some amazing babies. Of course, you're not going to be able to see any of those monitor lizards. All the big stuff's actually over in the reptile building. Haven't done a tour on that yet. We've done some changes over there too. If that's something you guys are interested in, you want to see that video, make sure to drop a comment saying you guys want to see the reptile building and how it looks now. And then last, but certainly not least, we saved the best for last on this tour, folks. We've got some just incredible Tokay geckos and cave geckos. Right here, of course, we have Oddball, my unidentified Tokay mutation. Something I'm trying to prove out here at DBCB Exotics and really have one as myself. You you know, my own genetic combination, something that I produced and I made, and I can put my name on it. Very exciting stuff. Obviously, in this video right over here, we got some stuff going on. We've made a few more steps. Now we have offspring produced. That was produced from oddball to the granite that we'll take a look at in just a couple of seconds. And we have babies. Low part is, and the bad part is about that, is the fact that, of course, those babies are unfortunately normals. They came out normals. They're blue geckos with some spots going on. Not really what you want to see when you start trying to prove out your own mutation, but of course, this is some foreign ground. No one's ever tried to produce this stuff before, so I have no idea what's going to happen. This is a recessive mutation where we just don't know, and then we pair them back to the parents or pair them together, and then we'll get the visual form of this mutation of oddball. You know, maybe this is going to have some granite. You know, 10 months to a year from now, these geckos are going to mutate to a granite and then possibly cystic. There's a lot of stuff we don't know about the granite. There's definitely a lot of stuff we don't know about oddball. So, hey, I made the big brain move of just pairing two unidentified geckos that we don't know much about and just trying to pave the way and getting some more information out there on what these geckos really do and how the genetics play with each other. And then right down here, man, we have some exciting stuff, folks. This is going to be my rare Tokay mutation shelf. Obviously, we talked about oddball. That's right up there a little bit. But we also have some awesome stuff, including the granite Tokay right in that 18 by 18 by 24. An absolutely incredible gecko. Honestly, when I started my gecko journey, I really wanted to work with the granites. There's nothing cooler to me than the black or the white grayish, you know, and the black spotted gecko. I think they're absolutely amazing. Probably my favorite gecko mutation that's out there right now. Of course, my favorite mutation had to be one we know very little about and haven't really been able to reproduce successfully and consistently. That's the better word for it. So I wanted to try my luck with it. Luckily, Denise over at Luckyfoot Geckos, she had a granite that she needed to get rid of. I paid the sum for it, and now we have him over here at DBCB Exotics. Definitely not going anywhere. We're going to be putting him into a lot of projects, making sure that we can get as many genetics going on with him, and that we can still try to prove out our own line of granite geckos. It's going to be awesome. Of course, a long shot of a project. We're talking 3 to 5 years out before we even attempt to try to find anything, but it's worth the rush. It's worth the fun. I'm having a good time. Tokay geckos definitely are part of it. I skipped a step over here, and that's going to be with this 20 long. This, of course, houses my cave geckos, Chinese cave geckos. This was the first attempt we had this year at breeding our Chinese cave geckos, and I believe we did pretty well, you know? We had a little bit surprises. That card right there will show you a little bit more about that, but we had a little surprise with actually a baby hatching in the enclosure. I had no idea they were copulating, they were breeding, or the female was gravid. She really didn't look like it. She didn't look like she had any eggs in her. I was really surprised when one morning I'm going to check on the cave geckos, and then boom, baby cave gecko comes squirming around. I'm like, oh, what? Cave geckos? That's awesome. I start digging around, and we actually found 2 more clutches of eggs besides the baby that we had. So we had the baby, another egg, and then another clutch of eggs. Really awesome to see, man. Of course, we ended up selling that cave gecko baby. Kind of wish I didn't, because that cave gecko looked really, really nice. So we decided to hold back. We have another one that we're holding back right over there in those little grow out shelves. But yeah, man, cave geckos, I'm really excited. Definitely want to expand on not only cave geckos themselves and the Chinese cave geckos, but getting into a little bit more localities like the Japanese cave geckos would just be really exciting. We're definitely not done with cave geckos. There's gonna be a lot more coming in the future. And alrighty, folks, I definitely saved the best for last. This is going to be a gecko that is just going to be incredible for as long as I can remember, and that is going to be my super red Tokay gecko, man. The most expensive gecko I have ever produced here, or not produced, but bought here at DBCB Exotics. She was a hefty amount of money, a really good amount of money, man. This is the most I've ever spent on an animal, and obviously, when it's the most expensive animal, we are taking every single precaution to make sure she's gonna be good for the lifetime of her life, man. So I know people are really excited for me getting super red Tokays. They want me to produce some and sell some. We're actually not going to be breeding her in 2022. She may be breeder ready by the middle of the year. You know, she's been putting on some pounds. She's been growing up. However, like I said, I want to make 100% sure that this female is good and good to breed and everything that goes with that. So we are going to be holding her back, and we're going to breed her in 2023. Give her another year to pack on the pounds. I want a real nice. She'll be around 2.5 to 3 years old before we breed her. I think that's a good size for a gecko gecko. I want her to be full. I want a fat tail. I want this gecko to look immaculate before we even attempt breeding, because it's too much on the line for that, and we're gonna play it safe. Rather safe than sorry, definitely, but 2023, man, I'll be so stoked when we hatch our first super red Tokay geckos. Well, folks, that is the reptile breeding room tour. I am gonna rename it into the gecko breeding tour now that the ball pythons are on its way. We'll be doing exclusively geckos, so there will be exclusively geckos in here. Like I said, you know, we got the Cresteds, the gargoyles, we've got cave geckos, we've got Tokay geckos, and, well, we got these ball pythons that are gonna be here for a couple more days until the buyer comes in, and he's actually picking them up. It does a lot off of me. I don't have to ship, you know, 9 ball pythons. He just comes and grabs them. Really nice stuff, man. But yeah, that is the tour. Let me know what you guys think. What was your favorite animal of the day? Don't all say super red at once. You know, maybe throw some granite Tokays in there. But that is going to wrap up this breeding room tour. As always, folks, you know, I mentioned it, we do have a couple of stuff from Sale and Clean, that, you know, that adult gargoyle that might come on in the spring. We, of course, got some crested gecko babies that'll be ready for spring. If you guys want any information about that, or potentially buy one from me, of course, we're always on Facebook and Instagram for my breeding stuff. Also on TikTok, you know, it's just a thing that we're on. I don't think you can buy animals off my TikTok, but Facebook and Instagram is the place where you definitely want to be. And then last, but certainly not least, we have Patreon, patreon.com/dbcbexotic, man. This is where you get the inside scoop of everything that's going on within my breeding business. The plethora of products we got going, obviously these geckos, we're getting some larger stuff, you know, the Akis, the Tegus, the Argus monitors. A lot of stuff is going on. We're actually making some really big changes right now. We're getting some stuff in, we're moving some stuff out. Patreon's the first one that gets to know about that. You get notified with bonus videos, you get bonus contents going on, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. You get first dibs on the animals I produce, and there's even tiers you can get a discount on the babies I produce if that's something you're interested in. Great place to be. It starts as low as $1 a month. If you want to get some more information or potentially purchase a Patreon membership, you can find that information down there in the description below. As always, folks, thank you so much for taking the time any day to follow me over here at DBCB Exotics. We'll see you next time, but until then, goodbye.